I have in my hands a fabulous bass, another bass we're so lucky to have here. And I can tell you from the outset, this is not a small person's instrument. This bass, well, it has a string length close to 44 inches. So you better be prepared to do some stretching to play down in the half position. And what I've also discovered, I guess it's fairly obvious, but you got to be prepared to make some, well, the jumps are longer. That's all there is to it. Just more motion is required. But when you get a good big bass, it's pretty easy to feel that it's worth it. So I'll give you a little quick sample here. It's easy to hang on those low notes, right? It's interesting, we just measured this instrument up, and the upper and lower bouts are not out of the ordinary. They're kind of old-fashioned, a little on the big side, 3/4. So this upper bout, a modern 3/4 bass would be 19.5. This is 20 plus, not quite 20.5. And then on the bottom, 25, 26 inches. Those are standard 3/4 dimensions. And this is a little bit bigger. Lower bout's about 26.5. But because of this long string length, I would have to call this a 7/8 bass. And the overall height up to the, from wood to wood on the top to the bottom is a couple of extra inches. Instead of being around 72, this bass is about 74. So it's a tall person's bass. But if you're a tall person, this is an excellent bass. We're calling this bass Physician's Choice. It was brought to us by a widow, and her husband had been a physician. And I guess we would all assume that when the physician went shopping for a bass, he had a budget to find just what he wanted. And I believe he did exactly that with this instrument. Let's take a little tour of this thing, starting up at the top. Interesting tuning machines, especially these keys. So these, forged from one piece, the shaft and the key. And I don't see these very often, I'll tell you that. And the wood pegs, looks to me like all 4 original ones are there. The scroll is kind of large. The neck is not fat, not too oversized. And it's a detail that would be hard to scope in on, but I always look to see how the grain runs down the heel of the neck. And this isn't perfect. It's a few degrees off, 5 or 6 degrees, but really that is so straight. Beautifully selected wood. Then as I turn the thing to the side, we see external linings. So though there is not a maker's label in this bass, it would be a good assumption that this is a German-made bass. An extra step fancier. A lot of basses have external linings that are just simple pieces, but these have been sculpted, I would say, and they're very beautiful. Nice wood. You can see the flame on the wood looking at the side. And if I turn this and look at the back, you can see a couple of things. More beautifully flamed wood, a very attractive finish, and then you can see the shape of this upper bout. And it's a wider bout. Whether I'd call that old-fashioned or what, it's not a sloping shoulder type of design. Nice gamba shape. I love this. This comes in here on a gamba. You get a kind of a flow on this line here with a nice shape like this. And then the top wood has a nice spacing to it, and a kind of a Germanic arch. It's hard to describe, but it's not low. It's a little higher. And many of the German basses come high, right here where my hand is, and then they tend to go straight, almost like a barrel shape underneath this bridge, and that's exactly what this bass does. So I don't know what else to tell you except that this is a bass. It's not an inexpensive bass, and it most certainly is not a small bass. But if this is the right kind of instrument for you, this is an excellent pick. So I hope you've enjoyed it very much.